was kind of like, I was writing for a long time. And I got published in anthologies. I was published all over the place, but I really wanted to have my book out. And I was like, oh, well, I'm old, it's never gonna happen, and then boom, I won this competition. And so it sort of opened the door for me. And then subsequently, there were 2 other books. But this book is very special because I really listen, and I always tell people writing is listening when I teach. And so I dedicated this book to my ancestors, and I just would, wring my hands sometimes and be pissed off about stuff and sit down, and then things would come to me. And they weren't always like nice things or sweet things. It was kind of just like, get your act together, like, what are you crying for? Like, I would just hear in my Jamaican, and y'all gonna cry for that? Like, stop crying, get up, do something, right? So this book is all about that, and these poems, when I talk to young people, I tell them how writing has taken me all over the world. That's very true, because I was scribbling poems, in high school, in my book, and winning little competitions, and then I became a journalist. I traveled all over the country. I worked for CBS News and PBS. I worked in film, and then I went into executive communications, and I did all that, but it's all through writing, it's all through communication. So I'm very grateful that I had that ability, and so thank you for Heather she was like, you know what, I want to publish a 2nd edition of your books. I was like, let's do it. This artwork is mine. This was in a gallery in a juried exhibition a couple years ago in Manhattan, and it was juried by the curator at the Whitney Museum. So that was special. She was like, I'm gonna put your art in the show. So without further ado, and I wanna leave time for questions. I just wanna have a conversation, but maybe I'll challenge myself to read poems that I don't often read, because I kind of read the same ones. That's okay. Have you seen my mother? Her face is a cool midnight, skin perfumed like summer rain. I fell from her belly at 3 a.m. through the keyhole of a question about pain, and I descended a dazzling light, diving downward into voices and days. First I was molten, then stone, then forgot my name, my home. Tell me, do you know my mom? Her voice rumbles like a sweet thunder, hums like waves breaking on a coral shore. Her hair twists like a bramble, firm and free, and all that's left of her tongue is rhythm and me. Do you know where she is? Does she love me? Can she see these brick pillows I've learned not to feel? Will she whisper through my tears that this is not real? So this poem here, right? I often read it, and it's kind of like, I know it by heart, but for some reason, just for security, I always turn to the page. But it's called I Am the Caribbean. You've heard this poem before. Everybody knows this poem I always read. I am the Caribbean. In the belly of a ship named for supposed nobility, I came this way. From low-caste Bombay to Chinese-built railway, I came this way. From Irish town here, poor as the one back there, I came this way. I became that jigsaw piece floating on the archipelago, too enmeshed to go beyond the gravity of my being. I am the Caribbean, a sweltering pool of disjointed life, each day remaking, reshaping itself into an electric rhythm, skipping from Bata to Tassa to Nyabingi, weaving through me, making me that kumina sound, that pan melody, that flute in the hills, that shack that brings back that sound of conviction, of personhood fought for, the independent ardor that we bled to see. I came to be that diasporic medley calling me down to ride through this life, changing shape as I see fit. And though we may forget the names of spirit, we call them viscerally, from Trenchtown, Port-au-Prince, Port of Spain, concrete just the same. All repositories of potential energy and stilted memory. I am the Caribbean. That is